It's funny. It's like when these tours got popped up and you see them on paper, it's like, oh, it's just 2 tours. One is like 3 weeks, one is 3.5 weeks. You're like, no problem, bust it out. And then by the end of it, by the last couple shows, you're like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
It's like just this rip roaring, and I kind of forgot like how quickly the whole thing can take you, and how you gotta, you know, lose your mind a little bit to even like adapt to it, and then jumping back home, and that it's a mind fuck. It's really like it's a very interesting thing. I came up with a little bit of a theory this time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot, but it's like, you know, I think everybody, like musicians and entertainers and even athletes and stuff, a lot of times later in life fall into patterns of, drug and alcohol abuse and stuff. And I think people find it more of like a personality trait, or like something that happens to these people. When the longer and longer I do this, I think there's a real physiological connection between, jumping up on stage every night and having a massive blast of adrenaline and serotonin, and to the absolute max it can go, and then supposedly coming home, and supposedly you're supposed to be even dead keeled and even in regular life. And when you're used to such extreme ups and downs, I think your mind and your body starts to try to find interesting ways to get that feeling. So like, so I think that's like a double-edged sword. I think, musicians and stuff should get a little more of a pass, as far as like where their heads are at and what happens to them. But also, like, there should probably be a little more awareness about that, and so people can sort of stay ahead of it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a big mental health thing. I mean, so for you, right? So because the entire time I'm like trying to figure out what your show day is like, and I know that that'd be like popular like vlog content, but like
Right.
so these shows get done at about what, like 11, 12 and stuff like that. And then you get on the bus and you're just like doing the damn thing. So kind of take me through, like, because it seems like you could enter the Twilight Zone and kind of lose track of like time and space and everything when on the road.
Yeah, well, I mean, it quickly by default goes to that, and it almost falls into like, I used to work nights,
Yeah.
and when you're, say, like you said, getting off stage at like 11 o'clock, and filled with adrenaline, and I go and I take a shower, and that's when you eat dinner, because I can't really eat like a lot of dinner prior, because I'm
Yeah.
too heavy and stuff. And so all of a sudden you're showered and you're eating and you're chatting with people and calming down, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, they'll say bus call is 2 o'clock. And, the last thing I want to do is sit on a parked bus. So you kind of poke around until 2 in the morning, then go on the bus, and other things happen. And before you know it, it's like, and this, I'm not even talking about drugs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's literally like, oh, the Mighty Boosh is on, like I'll watch that for an hour. And before you know it, like I'm in like a 10 o'clock bedtime routine when I'm home. But before I know it, I'm in like a 3, 4 in the morning bedtime routine,
Yeah.
where I'm starting to push noon the following morning and stuff. And it's like it just flip flops so quickly. It's
Yeah.
really like a physical anomaly in a lot of ways.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But dude, I want to talk about some of these venues that you went to, because there was one, dude, I was trying to go to this show, but the new venue at Fenway. Tell me about
Oh
it.
yeah,
That seemed fucking cool.
I was in Red Sox territory. What's funny about that venue is
Yeah.
like the Red Sox own the venue.
Wow.
So normally, musicians come in, they kind of have their fill of a place and stuff. This was like, no, fuck you. Like Xander Bogaerts is here. Like you guys are like second fiddle, and you got to follow our rules. Uh, so that was a funny part, and it was a game day as well. So like it was an extra clusterfuck for sure. But kind of exciting, and the venue itself was really cool. I mean, it's like, brand new, like all the, like the crew of ours was so happy, because at these giant brand new venues, just all the audio and all the technical stuff is so sharp for them, that like it's a very easy day, for a crew
Mm.
like that. I miss like in some of the cities like Boston and DC, Philly, we were ambitious with venues and we played bigger places than you normally have. And they all happened to be like very beautiful theaters and beautiful rooms. And we had quite cool shows there. So it kind of led to, one thing which was cool is, there's a lot of stuff on Handwritten and Get Hurt that kind of like in my head was sort of like built for big rooms. Like the drums are kind of like those big mean drums that should like affect out, and like kind of the rooms are starting to fit the sound a little. I'm like, all right. I'm like, Too Much Blood all of a sudden sounds really big, like in one of these giant theater rooms, when in
Yeah.
like a bar it maybe didn't fly as nice,
Yeah.
It's like but I think that's what a lot of these touring cycle has been, is like it's almost like a reevaluation adjustment of how we're going to do this now.
Yeah.
How we're going to do it personally, physically, how we're going to do the show to age gracefully and make sure that like this is staying fluid and staying in the same direction. And you can't just like push the same buttons you used to push. You kind of have to search around and figure some new avenues out. And I think that's a lot